Welcome to the Full Moon Film Buff, episode 187. We are going to discuss House of the Wolfman, released in 2009. I rented this from Scarecrow Video, and I had not seen this before. As always, we start with the prominent crew and cast. You can find links to a more complete credit list in the show notes. The film was written and directed by Eben Magar. Special effects makeup was by Ron Karkoska, with key special makeup effects by Anna Preciado. Monster sculptor technician was Mikey Rotella, and special effects makeup by Mark Villalobos. Eben Magar is an independent filmmaker renowned for affectionate homages to classic and 80s horror cinema. Magar developed an early obsession with the genre, citing Creature from the Black Lagoon as a childhood favorite that ignited his passion for monsters and mad science. Self-taught and driven by fan fervor rather than any formal training, he emerged in the mid-2000s as a champion of low-budget creativity, blending reverence for Universal's golden age with gleeful, gore-soaked irreverence. Magar's breakout came with Sick Girl, an indie thriller he wrote and directed, and it was followed by House of the Wolfman, a black and white love letter to Universal's monster mashups. His ambitions peaked with Hanukkah, a holiday slasher he scripted in 2010 and filmed in LA in 2018. Magar has teased sequels, Day of Judgment, Rosh Hashanah themed, and Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, signaling a potential franchise. Ron Karkoska was self-taught through trial and error apprentices on ultra-low-budget shoots. He has over 100 credits as a makeup artist since he began his career in 2000. Anna Preciado has contributed to high-profile films including the Predator prequel Prey, Tron Legacy, and the Hellboy reboot. Her expertise lies in practical effects, prosthetics, and creature design, helping bring aliens, demons, and futuristic elements to life. Mikey Rotella turned his childhood passion into a career, relocating to LA to work with top creature effects shops. His credits include practical makeup and prosthetics on projects like Pushing Daisies and The Cabin in the Woods, X-Men films like Origins, Wolverine, and First Class, Star Trek Beyond, Bright, Hellboy, Lovecraft Country, The Walking Dead and sequels, Star Trek Strange New Worlds and Discovery, The Orville, Smile and Smile 2, the Hellraiser reboot, The Mandalorian, The Predator, and Fallout. We'll see his work again when we get to Werewolf by Night. Mark Villalobos has a career spanning over 3 decades. Early projects include stop-motion work on Army of Darkness and Ed Wood. He's got over 100 credits, mostly on low-budget movies or TV series like Land of the Lost, Weird Science, Team Smithereen, and Legacies. We'll see his work again when we get to Werewolf Rising. The cast includes Ron Chaney as Bella Reinhardt, Dustin Fitzsimmons as Reed Chappell, Jeremy Lonka as Conrad Sullivan, Sarah Rafferty as Mary Chappell, Rode Fire as Elmira Clay, billed as Cheryl Rhodes, Jim Thalman as Archibald Whitlock, Bill Busse as the Wolfman, Craig Dabbs as Frankenstein's monster, and Michael R. Thomas as Dracula. Ron Chaney is the grandson of legendary werewolf icon Lon Chaney Jr. Ron grew up immersed in Hollywood legacy but pursued a career outside acting, working in construction and as a stuntman. He has taken a few acting roles, always in low-budget horror fare. Billy Busse began as a stunt performer and has branched out to include stunt-related acting and motion capture as well. His first acting role was as the Wolfman in a full practical suit in this retro homage, House of the Wolfman. He performed the physical transformation and rampage sequences. Busse's credits include work on video games like Mass Effect 2, Dante's Inferno, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, TV shows like Prison Break, Chuck, Into the Badlands, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Loki, Peacemaker, and films like Extraction, Tag, and Jumanji: The Next Level. Craig Dabbs also did stunts and stunt acting. Major credits include TV shows like Chuck and Justified, and films like The Green Hornet and Thor. Michael Thomas is primarily a special effects makeup artist who occasionally appears on screen in his projects as well. His primary focus seems to be softcore porn. We've actually seen his work before on Wolfen, uncredited, and Neurotic Werewolf in London. Some more mainstream credits include The Wiz, Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2, Zoolander, Enchanted, and I Am Legend. If you are a Universal Monster diehard craving a retro throwback on a shoestring budget, then this delivers an earnest homage in 81 minutes. You know what you're getting from the first graphic of the opening credits. The pacing drags and the acting's a little stagey, but the makeup is actually pretty good, and the monster brawls are charming. Every choice the cast and crew made was to intentionally mimic the look and feel of the classics. Now, we have seen similar attempts before at this kind of thing. See The Werewolf Reborn or Haunted Honeymoon. This is an unofficial sequel to Universal's 1940s monster mashes, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, So what if House of the Wolfman had dropped in 1946? It was shot in 2009 on 16 millimeter film in LA with castle exteriors via local mansions. Every detail is intended to replicate the golden age of Universal's black and white horror film. Ron Chaney's involvement was the hook. Magar wrote the role for him. The full frame, 1.33 to 1 aspect ratio, and the mono sound are deliberate error nods. There is no HD polish here. But here's the thing. Had I not known that this was made in the 21st century, I could have believed it to be a period piece. That's how good a job they do mimicking the look and feel of 40s era filmmaking. That's not to say that there aren't clues to its modern origin in it, it's just that it's possible to overlook them. So let's cover the synopsis. Dr. Bella Reinhardt, a reclusive mad scientist with a dark family secret, invites 5 strangers to his Gothic castle, claiming that one of them is his heir and will inherit the estate. They arrive on a stormy night and the creaky doors. Quarterback Reed Chappell, his twin sister and scientist Mary, antiquarian Conrad Sullivan, mysterious Elmira Cray, and hunter Archibald Whitlock. They bicker over wills, family histories, and who is attracted to whom, and portraits with creepy eye holes while secrets unravel. A spider leads Elmira to a creepy old armless and legless witch who reveals that all 5 guests are the illegitimate children of Reinhardt's. The witch is Reinhardt's mother and their grandmother. Reinhardt's true name is Frankenstein, and it's implied that he has other significant parentage. The full moon rises and Reinhardt transforms into the Wolfman. If any of his offspring survive, they will have proven themselves worthy. The Wolfman kills Whitlock, Reed, and Mary before Elmira unleashes Frankenstein's monster from the basement lab. Cue monster mayhem. Conrad is wounded in the fight. Elmira invites Dracula into the castle, not knowing who he is. Dracula's brides feast on Conrad. Dracula politely asks Elmira to wait with her grandmother while he takes care of business with her father. Unfortunately, we do not get to see the resolution of the 3-way Wolfman Frankenstein Dracula fight, or learn of Elmira's final fate, the end. There is one major transformation sequence, and they clearly poured every dollar of their budget, their limited budget, into it. Ron Chaney's Bella begins changing mid-dinner as the full moon rises, fingers drumming rhythmically on the table, a sinister gleam in his eye, body convulsing in the shadows before ripping into full Wolfman glory. The werewolf is brought to life with manic energy by Billy Busey in a Jack Pierce-inspired suit. It's pure practical magic, latex prosthetics, and expertly timed cuts that jump from one transformed body part to the next in rapid succession with no dissolves needed. There's no gore overload, just classic Universal-style tension building to fur and fangs. It's brief, but incredibly effective, a loving, heartfelt tribute. Which means the film sticks faithfully to classic Universal rules with no modern twists. The full moon is the sole trigger, the curse passed down as a family inheritance. Reinhardt is a Talbot descended through some delightfully twisted lore. Silver remains the unspoken killer, a cane tip glints with menace. Wolfsbane is never mentioned. The one big departure, this Wolfman isn't tragic. He's gleefully, maniacally evil, slaughtering his own children in wolf form without a shred of remorse. He's fully aware of every atrocity he commits under the moon. He simply doesn't care. It's pure lore as love letter, an unapologetic 1940s fatalism where the moon dooms you forever, and no one is looking for redemption. So now let's talk about why House of the Wolfman's nostalgia feels like a rebellion. In 2009, when every new release seemed contractually obligated to announce itself as darker, or grittier, or reimagined for a new generation, Eber Magar did something that felt almost subversive. He made a film that pretended the last 65 years of genre evolution simply never happened. House of the Wolfman doesn't update the Universal monsters, it doesn't deconstruct them, it doesn't apologize for them, and most shockingly, it doesn't ask for permission. It is an act of deliberate historical cosplay so thorough that it loops around from pastiche into quiet insurrection. In an industry that is addicted to forward motion, the radical move was to stand perfectly, obstinately still. And this refusal is what divides homage from something closer to cultural preservationism. Magar doesn't treat the 40s aesthetic as a cute stylistic choice. He treats it as the only honest language in which these creatures can speak. Color is banned not as a gimmick, but because Dracula's cape only casts the right shadow in shades of gray. Dialogue is mannered and expository because that's how doomed cinematic heirs spoke. The camera lingers in master shots and slow dollies because frantic cutting would break the spell of a world where time itself feels embalmed. Every decision is a vote for the past, a declaration that the old ways were not primitive, they were perfect. What makes this stance feel revolutionary rather than reactionary is the way the film weaponizes its own obsolescence. By embracing every single limitation of 40s studio horror, stage-bound sets, theatrical lighting, House of the Wolfman exposes how much contemporary horror mistakes budget for imagination. When a $100 latex snout crafted out of someone's garage can out-emote a $100 million CGI lycanthrope, the indictment is unmistakable. We didn't improve the monsters. We just taught ourselves to settle for less connection and more spectacle. There's also a subtle critique of fandom itself embedded in the film's purity. Modern geek culture often expresses love through ownership, remaking, expanding, and fixing the canon. House of the Wolfman expresses love through surrender. It adds almost nothing to the mythology. There's no new origins, no shared universe teases, no post-credit stinger. Instead, it subtracts. There's no irony here. There's no meta-commentary. There's no protective layer of self-awareness. The result is uncomfortably intimate, like watching somebody reenact their childhood bedtime stories with dead seriousness well into their adulthood. And that discomfort is the point. True nostalgia, the film insists, shouldn't feel safe or nostalgic in the cozy, commodified sense. It should feel like trespassing in a mausoleum that you once called home. Now, perhaps the deepest rebellion lies in the film's scale. At a time when horror franchises were ballooning into cinematic universes, McGar built his monster rally inside what is essentially a single haunted house set dressed with thrift store candelabras and dry ice fog. The intimacy is claustrophobic and oddly sacred, like stumbling across a secret society that's still performing the old rites in someone's basement. In its refusal to scale up, the movie preserves something that blockbuster revivals inevitably lose: the sense that these monsters once belonged to us, not to corporations. They were folk creatures, passed hand to hand on late night television, not IP assets guarded by fierce legal departments. House of the Wolfman, then, is less a movie than a time capsule launched backwards. It doesn't ask to be judged against its contemporaries. It demands to be shelved mentally and literally between House of Frankenstein and Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, as if the intervening decades were a bad dream from which horror has finally awakened. In an era that treats the past as a raw material to be mined, stripped, and rebranded, the film's quiet, stubborn anachronism feels less like nostalgia than like active resistance, a refusal to let the monsters die of natural causes, and an even fiercer refusal to let them be killed by progress. So, if you like lycanthropes, like, share, and subscribe. Contribute your thoughts and additional observations in the comments below. Let me know what I missed or what you noticed. Next, I plan to discuss Werewolves from 2009. Keep your eye on the moon, a silver bolt in the chamber, and we'll see you back here next episode.